Hey there, Sagittarius Ascendant. So this is your Ascendant forecast for the week ahead from Monday, the 24th of November, right the way through to Sunday, the 30th of November, 2025. And, if last week was a bit intense and kind of dreamlike as well, like really deep dreaming and deep analysis, a very sort of private week, especially with that new moon in Scorpio, then this is a week where everything releases and also Venus really comes into her own. There's a beautiful aspect, actually, a real sweet spot this week on Wednesday with your ruler Jupiter and Venus in an exact trine. I mean, that is really nice. Anyway, we've got emotional breakthroughs. We have got relationship turning points. There's so much that's happening in this week ahead, including Mercury and Saturn going direct to finally, Saturn's been retrograde since July the 13th. So it's going to be a real relief when he starts moving forwards. And of course, Mercury moving forwards again as well. So yeah, let's get cracking. If you're new to this channel, by the way, my name's Louisa. Welcome to Feel Good Astrology. Hope you like it. And I'm going to bring up my slides now. And as ever, I always just say a big thank you to the people who support my channel with donations, whether it's a one-off, when it's regular, or whether, you're a member of my community. I really appreciate you in so many different ways. Anyway. These are the two charts I've selected. This is the one for the beginning of the week, and you'll see that Sagittarius, like the sun is just in your own sign. I mean, this is a great thing, actually, because we're moving out of the Scorpio period and we're really coming into the Sagittarian period. And so you're really coming into your own over the course of this week. So that's the first heads up. But anyway, when you look at your chart, because this is a whole sign Western tropical model that I'm using, meaning that you've got Sagittarius in your first house. But when you look at your chart, you've got Sagittarius, but also the Capricorn symbol in your first house as well, then it's also important to give Capricorn a listen to, because it will still apply. Anyway, this is the first chart with the sun in Sagittarius, the moon in Capricorn, and you'll notice Venus is still in Scorpio. And then at the end of the week, you'll see Venus has just nudged into Sagittarius, the sun's further into Sagittarius, and the moon is now, she's gone from Capricorn in your second house to Aries, to your fifth house. So she's moved from second house to the fifth house, because we count from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Anyway, these are the most important things about the week ahead. You'll notice I haven't put anything in for the 27th. There's no planet to planet major aspect worthy of comment. The 27th is, however, important to a lot of Americans. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving in advance. So we start on Monday, the 24th, and Mars, that's in your first house, is in a bit of a bind in between the South Node in your 10th house and the North Node in your 4th house. Now, the South Node is showing where you've been and what you've learned and where you've got quite accomplished. And the North Node is really showing what you are still learning and maybe what you're a bit challenged by and what's coming up. And so in this square, this T square, Mars is really showing that where you're wanting to take action on your identity, like take action in your body, take action about yourself, maybe promote yourself, maybe it could also be about boundarying yourself, because Mars does bring up some boundaries in the first house for sure. But I mean, Mars is like really determined to move forwards in the first house. And so if you're feeling like you can't step forwards at the moment, you might want to consider, have you fully integrated everything that you've been learning about yourself and your career? Have you fully understood that are you really satisfied with what you've learned, and are you applying it to your life? Because anywhere where you haven't applied it, things are going to slow down. And at the same time, you're wanting to make changes at home. Maybe you're wanting to move forwards at home. Maybe you're wanting to feel more settled at home, and it's not quite happening as you want. And I think it's because you're still not fully applying what you've learned. So to me, there's the conundrum is between your outer you and your inner you, as opposed to your present determined you. So anywhere where you're held up it's because there's something of your career that's still either persisting, or a problem that you've already resolved, but you haven't really learnt that you've resolved it. Or there's something that you need to do up here in your career first before you can apply yourself down here to your home. And of course, once you understand that, then you'll say, okay, well, I understand why I don't feel so grounded at the moment, or I understand why, things are still up in the air a little bit. And okay, I get that now. And so Mars here is just really reminding you that for you to move on, you have to shift your version of yourself from your career, so that you can move forwards in the home that you're really wanting. I hope that makes sense. It's going to come up again because the sun will come into this position and be in a square to the nodes. And then you also have Venus and also Mercury that's going to do the same. So it's a theme that's going to come up in a different way each time, but it's rebalancing like your career versus your home. So yeah, that's my first thing. Now, obviously Mars does move, not really slowly, but not really fast. So this is really applicable in this week, but by next week, you'll see that this is really sort of fading away. But it's an interesting thing. And it's also dovetailing into Mercury making a conjunction with Venus in the 12th house, because when these two come together, there's, I think, a realization about something, that is going to connect you into Saturn in the 4th house. So again, another mention of the 4th house, and Jupiter in the 8th, which also dovetails back into the family. And so all of a sudden on the 25th, it feels like you have some kind of nudge that makes sense. So something happens that you go, oh, okay, I get it now. Like it really has dropped. The penny has dropped. And all of a sudden you can go, okay, that gives me some ease and a bit of space. And from that, Venus then makes the exact trine to Jupiter, the exact trine to Saturn. And it just feels like Monday through Wednesday, it's about realizations and appreciating the new knowledge that comes in, because what you're learning about yourself through your private reflection is allowing you to let go of some of the old family stuff, some of the old family trauma that is being opened up with Jupiter in the 8th house. So it might be that you realize something else that's holding you in this pattern of not being able to properly move into feeling grounded at home is because of family career issues, like where your parents maybe didn't earn as much money, or you came from poverty somewhere, or you had really busy parents that didn't pay you any attention. But the old family patterns and family work patterns, family wealth patterns are really playing into how easy it is for you to get settled at the moment. But then on the 28th, there is this change of tempo and speed. So by that time, the moon is down here in a square to the sun and marking the first quarter. And that's when you're out of that gentle growing, development, reflecting phase and really coming into this go, go, go phase. Like the green light gets going. And all of a sudden, it's time to take action, take steady little steps every single day. And on Friday, the 28th, Saturn goes direct in your 4th house. So there's a real indication that whatever you needed to learn, especially since March 2023, when he first went into the sign of Pisces and your 4th house, whatever you've been needing to learn about your home and family, whatever balance you were trying to get right, all of a sudden you've either learnt enough and you're happy to move on, or you just recognize that it just doesn't matter anymore. You don't have to keep beating yourself up and tormenting yourself. It is time to just move forwards now and to do it with good grace and confidence. And then on Saturday, Mercury goes direct. So it feels like you're more confident in your unconscious mind, so you're not wrong footing yourself all the time with all these, oh, why can't I? Or, oh, why is it like, all these kind of questions that lead to you beating yourself up. All of a sudden it changes, it turns around. And then it leads us on to the last day, which is the Venus day for sure, which is Sunday. Although actually the Venus day is Friday, vendredi if you speak French, but Venus day. But the 30th, we've got Venus going into an exact opposition with Uranus from your 12th house just to your 6th house. It's interesting. It feels like all of your plans are disrupted, and all of a sudden you're kind of letting go. It feels like maybe you're ready to let go of those plans. it's almost like, oh yeah, let them get disrupted, I don't care. And at the same time, Venus in a trine to Neptune in your fourth is bringing out a lot of forgiveness. So maybe you don't have to rush around and get everything right first time. Maybe you're letting yourself off the hook and recognizing it's time for you to put your feet up. I don't know. But to me, it feels like a really graceful moment. And then Venus goes into the first house. So she's coming into your first house. It's a time when you can be a lot more kind and gentle to yourself. It's a time when you'll naturally come to the attention of people. People will notice you a bit more. You'll seem softer, kinder, nicer, a lot more generous. It's a really good feeling when Venus comes into the first house. So I do think at this point, it really feels like there's a lovely tipping point. And next week when we start, we'll be preparing, we'll be wondering when, Mercury is going to get closer and closer, but you're really in the Sagittarius period by next week. It just feels so good. So I hope that's helpful for you, all my little witterings there about what I see coming up for this week ahead. And if you like the way I've kind of done this sort of weekly journey, imagine how much deeper we could go. I've got a membership on School, one for forecasts, that will give you a Monday to Friday short hit of my take on the world, and also weekly love and money forecast for all 12 signs. So that's something that you could get for a very small investment. I've also got a learning VIP membership on School that, where we meet up fairly regularly and we are talking about our charts. I'm going to actually put in a proper timetable very, very soon, where there's going to be 6 different sessions you can join a week, whereby we're all learning together with our charts and going deeper into astrology. And next year, 2026, from January, I'm going to be opening up 10 spots for a private astrological bespoke mentorship. So on a month-by-month basis, you and I could be exploring your chart from a completely new perspective. So it's helping you learn astrology, learn about your patterns, learn about the good times, the bad times, the difficult times, come into your own rhythm, start really living astrology, and really start that sort of healing astrology process. So it's going to be, I think, a real eye-opener. It's a real luxury, in fact. I wish I could do it to myself, and I can't. But, if any of that makes you go, oh my God, that's totally what sounds just like what I need right now, then just get in touch. All of my details are below in the show notes, and also on my channel page as well. So I look forward to hearing from you in due course. And if I don't, I'll catch you here next week, hopefully. So have a great one, and speak soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.